Most retirement plans focus on one thing, growing your money. How much can we accumulate? What's the rate of return? How's the portfolio doing? But almost nobody models what you'll actually keep. And here's why that matters. With our tax waterfall software, we can take your retirement income, your Social Security, your IRAs, your 401ks, your capital gains, your RMDs, your pensions, and model it against any state's tax structure, side by side, dollar by dollar. And you can figure out where can you live where you can save more. Where is the lower cost of living? But here's the problem. None of those savings count if your former state says that you never left. Hi, I'm Charles Kane, a certified financial planner for the Lifetime Income for You channel. Follow the channel and watch our videos for everything that is retirement related. So here's the scenario we see all the time. See, I'm in Oregon. It's one of the highest income tax states. For years and years, people would move from Oregon across the Columbia River to Washington just to miss out on income taxes. And people leave Oregon because they're tired of the high income tax burden. But now Washington is going to institute their millionaire tax. And so what we've seen over time is that people are buying a condo in Vegas. Maybe they buy a place in Scottsdale. And because Arizona is a low tax state. And they spend time there. Maybe even they spend their 185 nights. They get a Nevada driver's license. They register to the vote. They file their taxes in the new state. And year one, they see a ton of savings and they feel smart. But they never sold their place in Oregon. Maybe they even come back to Oregon to see their doctors there. Maybe their spouse spends significant time in the old state. They still see their financial advisor there. They still have their CPA there, their social circle. Maybe they even kept their country club. It's all still in Oregon. And that's when the clock starts working against them. Why is that? Because there's one thing that most people don't understand. When you file in your new state, you think you've started fresh, but your former state may still consider you a resident. And if you didn't file a return with them at all because you believed you left, the statute of limitations to come after you may never start running. In Oregon, you have 3 years after the date that you filed for them to audit you. But what if you think that you left the state and you don't even file a return in Oregon? Well, then the clock never starts running. Same rules in Washington. Maybe you have a large capital gain and you want it attributed to Las Vegas. Well, Washington still charges tax on capital gains. If you didn't file in Washington and they can prove that your life is still there, they can still come after you. In California, the Franchise Tax Board has 4 years to audit you from your filing date, 6 years if they claim you underreported. But if you never filed in California for the year they believed you were a resident, there is no time limit, folks. They can knock on your door after year 5, year 7, year 12, whenever they want. See, you thought that you moved to Nevada and you've been saving on paper, but you've been actually accumulating a liability you don't even know about. Back taxes, penalties, interest, legal fees, all compounding, and you thought you were smart and in the clear. See, that's not a tax savings, that's a tax time bomb. Let me walk you through the states that we would deal with the most. Oregon. Oregon has one of the highest income tax rates in the country. They know that people will move to Vancouver or Camas from Portland to avoid taxes. They have one of the largest groups in their internal revenue group to go after people who move from Oregon to Washington. When Washington reinstituted capital gains tax, now people move from Oregon to Nevada, but they do it just on paper. Oregon courts have repeatedly ruled against taxpayers who kept too many Oregon ties. If you're still primarily in Oregon, even if you're spending most of your nights in Nevada, you're still seeing Oregon doctors and still registered to vote, those types of things. Oregon's position is simple. Your domicile continues until you have clearly abandoned. You don't just add the new address, you've got to sell the home you've had and genuinely move on with your life. California is the most aggressive of the West Coast states. And I say West Coast because New York is by far the most aggressive. You know, they got a one-way street that goes all the way to Florida there in New York. But if you keep your business ties in New York, they're coming after you. And California is exactly like this. They have a dedicated team monitoring high-income taxpayers who file as residents one year and then disappear the next. And their auditors are sophisticated. They use cell phone location records, easy pass data, credit card transactions, airline records. They look where your business activity happens, where your board meetings are held, where your professional relationships are, and where you actually sleep at night. And when someone earning high income leaves California, the tax revenue leaving with them can be enormous. And they have every incentive to prove that you never really actually left. And then there's Washington. See, Washington used to be the escape plan, no income tax. People moved here or moved there from Oregon and California specifically for the tax haven. But that picture has changed dramatically. It now has the capital gains tax. As of March of 2026, they signed the 9.9% millionaire tax, a full income tax on earnings above $1 million effective in 2028. Howard Schultz, founder of Starbucks, announced he was moving to Florida the day it passed. That tells you everything. But here's what matters for anyone who already left Washington for Nevada but kept a home here, kept a business ties there, kept their life there. Washington is now using the same playbook. Residency auditors are looking at where you sleep at night, your cell phone tower data, your credit card geography, your travel records. If they suspect that you are a high income earner and you're only on paper living somewhere else, they're going to audit. And then they're going to subpoena all of those types of records. The state that used to be your safe harbor is now building the enforcement machinery to come find you. So what do you have to actually do about this? This is where the planning matters, not just investment planning, tax planning, and income planning. If you've been thinking about relocating in retirement, let us model for you the actual savings. The tax waterfall software will take you through all of those things. See, I get tons of people who come in and they're in Oregon and then they say, well, we think that we should move to Washington when we retire. And we put it side by side. And what I end up telling them is, well, maybe you should have lived in Washington while you were earning, but there's not so much savings now that you're retired. See, we can also help you understand what a true move looks like because the savings only exist if the move holds up to scrutiny. And a move that doesn't hold up to scrutiny is worthless. That's expensive, folks. We'd love to see you what smart relocation looks like, what it would mean for your retirement income. Maybe you have a large capital gain that you're staring at in the future. But you've got to be proactive about that and plan ahead. Come to Cannon Financial Group. That's cannonfg.com. Book a 20-minute, no obligation, no cost call with the team. In fact, when I say the team, it means that you talk to me. My team is behind me in my back office. But you get to talk with me, not some nameless, faceless person in a phone bank somewhere. Come on in, let us run your numbers for you, and let's see what is the best thing for you. This is Charles Cannon, Certified Financial Planner. Remember, income is the most important part of your retirement, but taxation's not far behind, folks. Have a great day out there.